Now we begin with the report by the Defense Headquarters claiming on Thursday that troops have killed more than 60 terrorists in the northwest and north central part of the country in the last 3 weeks. The Director of Defense Media Operation, Major General Musa Danmadami, who disclosed during a briefing on military operation in Abuja, said the troops also arrested more than 50 terrorists and their collaborators during the period. He also added that more than 25 kidnapped victims were rescued in the operations. Now joining me in the studio, I have lawyer and public affairs analyst Justice Ojeno.
It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Welcome to the show. And while on Zoom, I have the editor, security expert, or digest rather, Chidi Omeje. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Chidi, are you there? Good evening. Can you hear me? Mr. Chidi, welcome to the show. Are you there? All right, let me come to you, Mr. Justice. What do you make of this whole development, looking at how it's based on the north and central of the country?
Okay, first, any talk of this, especially in this season, is to first commiserate with people who have actually been victims of maybe kidnapping or terrorism generally, and also maybe both directly and indirectly. And also, we should take the opportunity to commend gallant soldiers who have, despite the fact that they have other options as a calling, as a vocation, they have devoted themselves to protecting our lives and property, devoting themselves to their Section 217 duty of the Constitution, which is to protect the integrity, especially the territorial integrity of our country. So I take the opportunity to commend them. And the people that have been arrested, they should be swiftly prosecuted. And of course, in prosecuting them, we should also stick to the provisions of the rule of law. We shouldn't say, okay, because these people have been very, very dastard in the way they've carried out their own operations, we should now also use extrajudicial or other dastard means to deal with them. We should ensure that they are dealt with within the provisions of the law. And if there can be any openings for maybe rehabilitating them into society, genuine openings to rehabilitate them into the society, it's generally not a bad idea.
All right, I'm told Mr. Chidi Omeje is now with us. Are you there, sir?
I'm here, but I can barely hear you.
Okay, I will try as much as I can to raise my voice so you'll be able to hear me. Okay, so the question is, insecurity in the northwest and north central part of the country have persisted despite increased military oppression. While we commend them for their effort, how can they be encouraged to do more?
Okay, thanks for having me. You talk about the insecurity in the northwest and the north central, or are you talking about the terrorism in the northeast?
So I mentioned the both northwest and north central part of the country.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so I mentioned how insecurity has persisted in the west and north central part of the country, and while we commend even though the military operation is increased. Do you get the question now?
Yeah, did you? Okay, fine. So we're talking about the insecurity in the northwest.
Yes, I'm asking
if that's the focus.
Yes, I'm asking how do you think the military can be encouraged to do more, even as it seems the insecurity there keeps persisting?
Very poor network. But let me, from the little I can gather from your question, you see, the military has been quite commendable in the fact that, you see, they have a multiplicity of operations, theaters of operation across the country. The northeast, where they're battling the terrorists, Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists, and of course the northwest and north central, where you have the terror bandits and, of course, kidnappers and all manner of violent criminals ravaging the zones. And the military have been up and doing, trying to contain these situations. You see, we have to cut some slacks to these military guys. Because, first of all, you have a military that are almost overstretched with all manner of internal security. It's not just in the northwest that they are also in the north central, they are in the southeast where they're battling violent separate agitation. They're also in the north, the south where they're trying to handle attacks on our maritime assets. So is it a flurry of activities for the military? So back to northwest and north central. Yes, that has been a very formidable, theater of insecurity where you have cross-border bandits ravaging, and these are more or less economic plunderers who are out there, attacking villagers and constituting a matter of security breaches. The military have been, up and doing, and I expect to see that the police and all other security agencies should provide a level of complementary support to the military to enable them to do a better job, because in actual sense,
Mr. Chidi, are you there? Well, I think we've lost connection with Mr. Chidi. Okay, so let me come to you. How much collaboration do you think we need to curb insecurity, especially now the election is around the corner?
As high as possible, as high as we can possibly get. And it shouldn't just be interagency collaboration, maybe the army, of course, I know that the army and the DSS are really doing a lot. But again, a part that we are not really laying so much emphasis on is the civilian and military collaboration. I think that the civilians should be encouraged to maybe tip off, and we should also encourage the habits of awards, giving rewards. Okay, give us a tip that gives us this kingpin, and if you can do that, such rewards for you. And we shouldn't just have situations where the government is saying it, that okay, we are giving. The government should actually be made to follow through. Let them give examples, even though again that can put those people in danger, people who receive such awards and all. But there shouldn't be bankruptcy of trust. There should be confidence that if the government says that they will follow through with certain rewards or certain promises, that they will. So as possible, as much as we can possibly get, I think it will make good for all of us.
All right, I'm told Mr. Chidi is there. Can you hear me now? Mr. Chidi, are you there?
I'm here. I'm right here.
All right. Maybe if also find out from you what you think how much collaboration do you think we need to curb insecurity, especially now the election is around the corner? Okay, so I'm going to repeat the question. I'm asking how much collaboration you think we need to curb these cases of insecurity, especially now the 2023 election is around the corner.
Okay. Yeah, I think, like I said in my initial talk, I said there ought to be robust collaboration between and among military, security, intelligence, and response agencies to be able to contain the situation. Now that we have the elections coming very close, this kind of collaboration is even much more needed, because you do not expect just one agency to be the first responders and at the same time be the last responders. We ought to have a robust synergy, so that you have the military probably be in the front, and of course you have the police and the civil defense and all other security agencies doing doing some complementary roles. In so doing, you expect a much more better result. But the situation where some agencies sit back or play less than much more serious role, you do not expect robust results. So I believe that with this election coming very close, they must design a very effective synergy between and among these agencies to enable robust results. That's what I think.
All right, Mr. Chidi, thank you very much for your contribution on the show.
Even though the network was...
All right.